Chapter 97. The two met. Yi, I haven't seen you for a few months. Why did you suddenly contact me? Yu Ling pretended to be angry. I've been hunting fierce beasts in the wild for the past few months. Yi explained with a little embarrassment. Yu Ling naturally knew that Yi had left the Demon Sea base, so she was just deliberately making fun of Yi by asking such a question. What on earth are you looking for me for? Yu Ling asked. Yi didn't beat around the bush, and said directly, I want to ask you, is there any way to subdue a fierce beast? Yu Ling looked at Yi strangely. I remember that you have 2 pets already. Why are you still asking me? Ahem. Those 2 beasts were threatened by me, and I don't know how to subdue them otherwise, Yi said helplessly. Threat? Yu Ling's eyes widened. The wisdom of a beast that can be threatened and surrender to the Lord is quite high. It's precisely because of high wisdom that you'll know how to save your life, and you'll surrender and admit to the Lord. You're in luck, Yu Ling said enviously. Faced with Yi question, she still answered truthfully. Yi, if you want to subdue a fierce beast, there are several ways. The first is the same as you, a direct threat, but the success rate is too low. The second is to let a king-level powerhouse directly extract the soul light of the fierce beast, let others absorb it, and then you can complete the subjugation. The third way, a warrior with the talent of controlling beasts can directly control and subdue the fierce beast with their talent. And the fierce beasts in the Demon Sea base are basically subdued by those with beast control talents, and then a fierce beast control card is created. As long as the fierce beast control card is refined, the fierce beast can be subdued. If you want to subdue a beast that is difficult to subdue, you can ask a beast control talent for help. The fee will be charged according to the level of the beast, and you won't be short of that little money. Beast control talent? And this talent? Yi was a little surprised. It's a strange talent, but this way, he doesn't have to worry. He can just copy a beast control talent, and he won't need to go to a beast control talent for help at all. Thank you, Yi thanked her. Haha, we're friends, it's just a problem. It's not a big deal. However, if you come to me later, I guess I'll have to go on retreat, Yu Ling said casually. Are you going to retreat to impact the Grandmaster realm? Yi asked, guessing. Yu Ling nodded. I'm a top-level cultivator, and the success rate of hitting the Grandmaster realm is 100%. The next time you see me, I'll be a Grandmaster. I see that you have also reached the limit of a great martial artist, so it's better to impact the Grandmaster as soon as possible. Only by becoming a Grandmaster powerhouse can you have a long lifespan of 200 years, and you can know more wonderful things. After all, a great martial artist is at the bottom, and there's no need to stay at the great martial artist level for too long. I understand. Yi smiled faintly and didn't refute Yu Ling. Maybe Yu Ling knew about the perfect foundation, or maybe she didn't. But for the vast majority of great martial artists, forging a perfect foundation was just a fantasy, and it couldn't be achieved at all. Therefore, he didn't say it, nor did he let Yu Ling impact the perfect foundation level. Because he knew very well that with Yu Ling's situation, there was no way to forge a perfect foundation, so why force it? After the two had eaten, they separated. Yi didn't go home, but walked towards the headquarters of the Fierce Beast Pavilion, where the beasts were sold. The Beast Pavilion is also a big force, with many distributions in the Demon Sea base, specializing in the business of selling fierce beasts. There were a large number of fierce beasts imprisoned in the headquarters, many of which were top-level fierce beasts. The high-level Vajra bone talent that Yi copied last time was copied from a branch of the Fierce Beast Pavilion. This time, he went straight to the headquarters of the Beast Pavilion. He firmly believed that the beast control talent of the Beast Control Hall must be in the headquarters, and once the opponent's position was covered, he could easily copy the opponent's beast control talent. Walking into the Fierce Beast Pavilion, a very beautiful young employee came forward enthusiastically to introduce Yi to various fierce beasts. In the face of this young employee's enthusiasm, Yi was perfunctory, and his mind was focused on copying talent. Wow! A radius of 600 meters was all under Yi scrutiny. The talents of each fierce beast and every martial artist were all clearly checked by Yi. What a surprise! Yi looked overjoyed. Not only did he discover a beast control talent, but he also discovered an extraordinary level cultivator. Human, Li Pei, cultivation talent, top, beast control talent, high. Human, Zhao K. Cultivation talent, transcendental, fire knife talent, medium. Zhao K. It seems that he is the chief hall master of the Fierce Beast Pavilion. He should be a king, and he is also a king level with a medium fire knife talent, which is amazing. It's estimated that among the kings, he is also a relatively powerful type. Yi Tian said darkly. Without another word, he copied the transcendental level cultivation talent. He had successfully copied 2 transcendental level cultivation talents before, and now, as long as he copied 1 more transcendental level cultivation talent, he could be promoted to a talent level above the transcendental level. Originally, he wasn't in a hurry to improve his cultivation talent. His main purpose was to forge a perfect foundation. But he really encountered an extraordinary level cultivation talent, and he would be a fool if he didn't copy it. Having copied the transcendental level cultivation talent, Yi Tian could also copy another talent, so he copied the beast control talent of the beast control expert. When the 2 replication opportunities ran out, Yi Tian naturally wouldn't stay in the Fierce Beast Pavilion. Little sister, I'm sorry, I have some things to go do first. Next time, I'll buy a fierce beast. Yi Tian ignored the pitiful eyes of the young employee and resolutely left the beast pavilion. Back home, Yi Tian couldn't wait to start fusing the beast control talent and the transcendental level talent. The first thing he started to fuse was the high-level beast control talent, and he easily fused it successfully, leaving only some sweat stains. After cultivating for half an hour, Yi Tian began to fuse his transcendental level cultivation talent. It should hurt, right? Yi Tian guessed. This was the process of promoting an extraordinary level cultivation talent to a higher level cultivation talent, and the pain brought by such a promotion process was definitely greater than any before. Taking a deep breath, Yi Tian began to fuse. Pain. The pain of the heart. It was 10 times more painful than a woman giving birth. If it weren't for Yi Tian's willpower far exceeding ordinary people, maybe he would really faint in pain. In Yi Tian's consciousness, a second seemed longer than a century. He didn't know how long it had been, but Yi Tian finally got rid of the pain. It hurts so much. I really don't want to go through it again, Yi Tian said, though it wasn't truly what he felt. If there were such an opportunity, he'd be willing to bear it even if it hurt twice as much. How's the talent? Yi Tian used his copy talent to check his talent. At this time, he saw a whole new level of talent. Cultivation talent, Morningstar. Morningstar cultivation talent. Is this the level above transcendent cultivation talent? Yi Tian was full of expectations for this level of cultivation talent. Chapter 98. I'm already at the limit of a great martial artist now, so I can't test how many times the increase in cultivation speed the Morningstar cultivation talent provides compared to the transcendent level. I can only test it after breaking through to the Grandmaster realm in the future. Yi Tian suppressed the surprise brought by the Morningstar cultivation talent and immediately began to study the beast control talent. Through the beast control talent, Yi Tian was shocked to find that he could cancel his relationship with Xiao Jin and Xiao Zi at any time, because the beast control talent could extract and strip soul light. Yi Tian took Xiao Zi and tested it, finding that it was easy to complete the beast control and establish a master-pet relationship, which was no different from before. But when he forcibly tried to establish a master-pet relationship with Xiao Jin, he found that he failed. He had no choice but to let Xiao Jin take the initiative to recognize him as master. After testing again and again, Yi Tian came to a conclusion. Beast control talent should have something to do with the soul. I am only at the limit of a great martial artist, and Xiao Jin is already a top fierce beast. From a realm point of view, Xiao Jin's realm is stronger than mine, and its soul is also stronger than mine, so I can't forcibly control Xiao Jin and make it recognize me as master. Yi Tian realized. In general, the high-level beast control talent was still very strong. As long as the realm of the battle blood heavenly dragon wasn't higher than his, he could forcibly control it and make it recognize him as master. Yi Tian took out the battle blood heavenly dragon egg again and found that the vitality on it was even stronger, as if it was about to gush out. It's coming soon. It feels like it will be able to hatch in less than 10 days. Yi Tian speculated. 10 days isn't a long time, and he can wait. So, in the next 10 days, Yi Tian only comprehended the sword intent with peace of mind, putting aside other cultivation for the time being. Time flew by. 10 days passed. This day, Yi Tian felt the shock of the space around him and immediately understood that the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon was about to be born. Immediately, he took out the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon egg and activated the villa's soundproof formation and hidden aura formation. Beside him, Xiao Jin stared at the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon egg with wide eyes. It was no stranger to this egg. Its owner often took it out to look at it. Before, it didn't think there was anything magical about this egg, but now it felt that the coercion emanating from it made it very depressed. Soon, the coercion grew. This wasn't a suppression of strength, but a suppression of bloodline. Fierce beasts value bloodlines, and they grow entirely by bloodlines. For example, because it has a top-level bloodline talent, even if it doesn't eat treasures and fierce beast meat, it can refine its bloodline and flesh body with heaven and earth yuan qi alone, and grow to the top-level fierce beast level. This is the benefit of a top-level bloodline talent. But now, as a top-level bloodline talent, it was being suppressed in its bloodline. The egg that the master got back can't be the egg of a king beast, right? Xiao Jin was stunned. It didn't know why, but it always felt that with the birth of this egg, it was about to fall out of favor. I guess it's an illusion. Xiao Jin comforted itself in its heart. However, it wasn't wrong at all. It was indeed about to fall out of favor, because Yi Tian was preparing to make it Yi Yu's beast pet. A person's number of beast pets is limited because soul endurance is limited. In order to be able to control the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon, Yi Tian had already dissolved Xiao Zi from the master-pet relationship, and let Xiao Zi recognize Yi Yu. Soon, he would ask Xiao Jin to recognize Yi Yu as well. So, Xiao Jin's worries were right. On the ground, the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon egg shook violently. Suddenly, click, the eggshell of the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon, which was so strong and indestructible that even a Grandmaster couldn't destroy it, developed a crack. Over time, there were more and more cracks. About half an hour passed, and the entire Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon egg cracked open a huge opening, and a head protruded out. This head was very similar to a dragon's head. Yi Tian had never seen a dragon either. It was completely based on the legends of his previous life. After the head of the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon stretched out, its body also broke free from the eggshell. Soon, a small, blood-red dragon, more than a meter long, appeared. It had no wings. It was not a Western dragon, but an Eastern dragon. Check. Yi Tian used his copying talent to check the talent of the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon for the first time, his heart full of expectations. Species: Bloody Dragon. Bloodline talent: Dawn level. Strength talents: top. Defense talents: top. Speed talent: medium. Bloodthirsty talent: top. Flying talent: advanced. Dragon Flame talent: high. Healing talent: medium. Dragon Yin talent: advanced. Bloodbone talent: medium. Dragon Soul talent: medium. The 10 special talents were almost comparable to Yi Tian's current talent situation. Of course, if Yi Tian wanted to copy more talents, it would be easy, but it would be a waste to innocently copy some useless talents. He had strict requirements for the replication of every talent, and he wouldn't copy any talent that was useless to himself. The talent of the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon is really perverted, but unfortunately, there are only 3 top-level talents. Yi Tian said with a slight dissatisfaction. If he let the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon know Yi Tian's thoughts, it would definitely scold him. Are you looking for a fierce beast with a talent more powerful than me? Soon, Yi Tian no longer paid attention to the 10 special talents, but focused on the bloodline talent of the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon, Dawn level. The Dawn Sun level should be a talent that surpasses the Morning Star level, but I don't know how many levels it surpasses. Yi Tian said darkly. Immediately, he felt extremely sorry. He followed the path of cultivation, not the bloodline of the fierce beasts, so even if the bloodline talent of the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon was demonic, he wouldn't dare to copy it. Once he copied it, his bloodline would become the bloodline of the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon, and he didn't know what the sequelae would be. But he knew very well that in the future, he wouldn't be able to cultivate like humans, and he could only advance like fierce beasts. This seemed to be very good, but when he reached the limit of the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon level, how could he improve? It would be impossible for him to copy stronger beasts, otherwise, the bloodline conflict was no joke. He could only copy the higher level talents within the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon. But if the Dawn Sun level was the highest among the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragons, wouldn't he be unable to improve? Choosing a bumpy path, or even making copying talent useless, versus a brilliant path of infinite progress, Yi Tian would naturally know how to choose. It's just a Dawn Sun level talent, and there must be one among humans. Yi Tian thought so. First, acknowledge the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon as a controlled beast. Yi Tian hurriedly interacted with the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon and used his beast control talent. Although the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon had a Dawn Sun level bloodline talent, it was only a mid-level fierce beast now, and it wasn't difficult to control. And, the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon had just been born, and it saw Yi Tian at first sight. It was very dependent on Yi Tian, so Yi Tian easily completed the control of the beast and established a master-pet relationship with the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon, successfully subduing it. Hungry, eat. A message came from the mind of the bloody Heavenly Dragon. The next moment, the Blood Dragon ran to the eggshell and slowly began to chew. As soon as the indestructible eggshell entered the mouth of the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon, it automatically melted and entered its body. Yi Tian was shocked to find that when the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon was eating the eggshell, the aura on its body became more and more powerful. When it finished eating the eggshell, the aura on its body suddenly surged and it abruptly stepped into the level of a high-level fierce beast. In addition, the blood-red scales on its body had become tougher and shinier. This talent is against the heavens, and the growth rate is too fast, Yi Tian said with emotion. Fortunately, he controlled the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon in time. If it had been later, and the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon stepped into being a top fierce beast, he would have had to cry himself to death. The copying talent is still cooling down, and when the cooldown is over, I'll copy the blood-devouring talent of the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon. Yi Tian planned to do so. Chapter 99. Yi Tian's copying talent still had about 20 days until its cooldown ended. That was still quite early. During this period, in addition to comprehending the sword intent every day, he cultivated a relationship with the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon. Since the Battle Blood Celestial Dragon had just been born, its spiritual intelligence wasn't yet complete. Just like a human baby, it needed a certain amount of time to grow. Moreover, Yi Tian discovered one thing. The Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon liked the blood of fierce beasts very much. It had to absorb a large amount of fierce beast blood every day. Even if it didn't have the blood of fierce beasts with dragon's blood, it would drink it. For the Battle Blood Celestial Dragon, the blood of the fierce beast was similar to milk, which could make it grow. Yi Tian saw that the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon was growing day by day, its body getting bigger and bigger. Even if it consumed a large amount of fierce beast blood, he was extremely happy in his heart. However, with him and the Battle Blood Heavenly Dragon as two blood-consuming households, the fierce beast blood needed for cultivation in the future would probably be massive. Fortunately, he had a lot of fierce beast blood, and there was no shortage of it for the time being. But he was afraid that he would have to go to the wild often in the future, otherwise it wouldn't be enough for cultivation at all. A few days later, Yi Tian made a decision to dissolve Xiaojin's recognition as his pet and let Xiaojin recognize Yi Yu. Because of this, Xiaojin complained for a long time, but it still honestly became Yi Yu's pet. In fact, it wasn't ashamed to become Yi Yu's beast pet. After all, Yi Yu had now taken the heavenly soul flower given by Yi Tian, and his cultivation talent had transformed to the top level. It was certain that he would become a grandmaster in the future, and he even had a little hope of becoming a king. Therefore, Xiaojin quickly accepted that he had become Yi Yu's pet. The day before the copying talent was about to cool down, Yi Tian withdrew from the comprehension of the sword intent, exhaled lightly, and muttered, "I have finally realized the sword intent to 1.9. It's not in vain that I've been crazy in the past few months." 1.9 sword intent meant that as long as he comprehended a little more, he could reach 2% of the sword intent. 2% of the sword intent was the threshold for cultivating silver-level sword skills, meaning he could cultivate silver-level sword skills. It's said that many silver-level sword skills have special effects, and it's not as simple as increasing combat power, so he was very much looking forward to it. Another day passed. The cooldown of the copy talent ended, and Yi Tian had 2 more chances to copy talent. The first opportunity naturally went to the blood-devouring talent, which was a top talent of the bloodline type, and it was exactly the top talent he needed. Once he had copied it, he could really break the limit of blood refining, let the refining of skin, flesh, bone, and blood all step into the realm above the limit. Then he could try to hit the last step, breaking the limit of the 5 internal organs, and then he could cast a perfect foundation. Fusion. The blood-devouring talent was integrated into Yi Tian's body. The makeover had begun. 10 minutes later, Yi Tian successfully fused the blood-devouring talent, and soon knew the true use of the blood-devouring talent. Devour the blood and come back to life. Yi Tian suddenly felt the extraordinary nature of this talent. It was a rejuvenation, and it was even more extraordinary than the healing talent. The healing talent only healed the injury, but it didn't heal vitality, because vitality was linked to life force and couldn't be recovered without healing. For example, if Yi Tian cast some forbidden techniques that consumed his vitality, the healing talent couldn't replenish his vitality. But as long as he had the blood-devouring talent and devoured a large amount of fierce beast blood, he could draw vitality from the blood of the fierce beast to replenish his own vitality. What an extraordinary ability! Earned! Yi Tian was overjoyed. With the top-level blood-devouring talent and the top-level healing talent, no matter how serious the injury was in the future, no matter how strong the sequelae, he would be able to recover quickly. When the top-level blood-devouring talent arrived, Yi Tian began the purple blood alchemy technique. At this time, Yi Tian was shocked to find that the blood-devouring talent and the purple blood alchemy technique could perfectly cooperate in cultivation, because the blood-devouring talent could instantly absorb a large amount of high-level fierce beast blood and store it in the depths of the blood, while the purple blood alchemy technique could draw out the power from the depths of the blood and refine the blood of the whole body. Therefore, when urging the blood-devouring talent to cultivate the purple blood alchemy technique, the speed of progress was too fast. At this rate, Yi Tian was sure that he would break the limit of blood refining within 10 days, which was much faster than breaking the refining skin, refining meat, and refining bones. This was an unexpected joy. Of course, the fast rate of progress meant that more beast blood was consumed. In just a few days, Yi Tian's stored fierce beast blood was exhausted. He had to spend billions to buy a large amount of fierce beast blood, which barely made up for the consumption of high-grade fierce beast blood. 10 days flew by. This day, Yi Tian finally felt the limit of blood refining. Broken. The blood-devouring talent and the purple blood alchemy technique gathered a huge amount of energy, instantly breaking through the limit of blood refining and stepping into a new realm. Then, Yi Tian's blood underwent a tremendous change. The blood was like mercury, and it even contained a faint golden light. At this time, his blood was already one level higher than that of ordinary people, and he was already evolving towards a higher level. But at present, even if the limit of blood refining was broken, this blood level could no longer be improved further. The next step is to break the limit of the 5 internal organs. The 5 internal organs are too complicated, and it's almost impossible to rely on talent, so you can only borrow a gravity formation to crush the internal organs and reshape them, so as to break the limit. Yi Tian planned. If you were an ordinary person, you wouldn't dare to do this. Even if you did, you would have to prepare a large amount of high-grade healing liquid, and the time it took would be very long. You would have to rest for a long time to heal after trying once. But Yi Tian was different. I have a top healing talent. I can heal injuries quickly. As long as the internal organs aren't completely broken, they can heal quickly. Basically, I only need to heal in time. Unless there's a problem with my head, there will be no way to recover. Yi Tian had this self-confidence and could break the limits of the 5 internal organs. Right now, he needed to find a gravity formation with strong enough gravity to assist in his cultivation, otherwise there would be no way to break the limit of the 5 internal organs. Gravity formation? I remember that there's a cultivation tower in the Demon Sea base, and it's invested in by several big families. Yi Tian recalled. That cultivation tower had a large number of vitality formations, gravity formations, and formations that assisted in cultivation speed, reflexes, and combat effectiveness, which could be said to be diverse. However, it also cost a lot of money to enter the cultivation tower, and basically, only rich people had the financial resources to cultivate there. Go to the cultivation tower. Yi Tian went out and headed directly to the cultivation tower. Demon Sea base, central area, Demon Sea cultivation tower. The entire cultivation tower was 500 meters high, with 50 floors, each 10 meters high, and each floor had a large number of cultivation rooms. At the entrance of the first floor of the cultivation tower, there were special people who charged fees. Yi Tian took out his identity card and said, "The highest level gravity room. How much is it a day?" "The highest level?" the staff member said. "The highest level is the king level gravity room, which is for king level cultivation. There are only 3, and it has been requisitioned by 3 king level adults. The second level heaven level gravity room is enough for top grandmasters. You are just a great martial artist, there's no need to use such a high level gravity room." "Then give me a heaven level gravity room," Yi Tian said without hesitation. "Well, 50 million a day." The staff spoke. Chapter 100. "I'll pay for a month up front," Yi Tian said. 1.5 billion a month. The staff looked at Yi Tian in some surprise. They couldn't believe that Yi Tian, a mere great martial artist, was willing to spend 1.5 billion to cultivate for a month in the heaven-level gravity cultivation room. This was a ruinous act. Some grandmasters didn't even dare to cultivate in the heavenly extreme gravity cultivation room for a month, at most just a few days. The real use of the gravity cultivation room is to break bottlenecks. With the help of gravity, you can better break the shackles of the physical body and advance to a new level. So, not many people actually use the gravity room. The truly popular one is the vitality cultivation room. If you cultivate inside, it's much better than outside, and it can significantly speed up your cultivation. Yi Tian quickly paid 1.5 billion and got the key to enter the heaven-level gravity room. The heaven-level gravity room is on the 8th floor, and anyone who hasn't activated the formation at the door can enter it, the staff introduced. Yi Tian nodded knowingly and took the Yuanli elevator to the 8th floor of the cultivation tower. He found an unmanned gravity room at random. After entering, Yi Tian activated the defensive formation and the soundproof formation, ensuring no one would come in to disturb him. It's so rich. The heaven and earth Yuan Qi is at least 3 times as strong as outside. Yi Tian sensed it and said in a low voice. This was still a gravity room, not a Yuan force room, so you can imagine how high the Yuan Qi concentration was in the Yuan force cultivation room. However, cultivating in the Yuanli cultivation room all the time isn't something that ordinary people can support, because the Yuanli cultivation room can be even more expensive than the heavy force cultivation room. If I can arrange the formation, I can set up a Yuan force cultivation room by myself. Then I can speed up my cultivation, and my progress can be much faster than my own penance. Yi Tian thought, but this matter wasn't a rush for the time being. He would try it after he entered the Grandmaster realm. At present, the most important thing was to break the limits of the 5 internal organs and build a perfect foundation. Yi Tian checked the gravity settings. There was a book in the room dedicated to how to use gravity. The gravity of the celestial gravity room ranged from 1x to 1000x. Warriors were suitable for 1x to 5x gravity, elite warriors for 5x to 20x gravity, great martial artists for 20x to 100x gravity, and grandmasters for 100x to 1000x gravity. Yi Tian used the gravity chamber for the first time, and he didn't dare to hold back, so he turned on 100 times the gravity. Rumble. A huge pressure hit, and Yi Tian suddenly felt a shock in his internal organs. He was actually injured. In fact, with his realm, he could withstand 100 times the gravity, but this was his first time using the gravity chamber, and his internal organs hadn't yet become accustomed to such high gravity before he got injured. Yi Tian activated his healing talent, and his injuries recovered instantly. About 10 minutes had passed, and Yi Tian had completely withstood 100 times the gravity. 100 times the gravity is the limit that a great martial artist can endure, and I have to withstand higher gravity to be able to break the limit of the internal organs. Yi Tian said with a sigh. So, he turned up the gravity. 101x gravity. 102x gravity. 103 times gravity. Yi Tian increased it little by little. There was nothing else wrong with the rest of his body, only his internal organs couldn't withstand the gravity, and they cracked a little bit. But Yi Tian had his top healing talent activated the entire time, so the injury recovered in an instant, and there was no danger to his life at all. Time passed day by day, and Yi Tian's tolerance limit was also increasing. Half a month passed. Yi Tian had been able to withstand 108 times the gravity, but he still hadn't touched the limit of his internal organs. 110x gravity. 115x gravity. 120x gravity. Yi Tian increased his gravity again and again, and soon a month passed. In desperation, Yi Tian continued to cultivate in the gravity room for another month. Breaking the limits of the internal organs was more difficult than others. Yi Tian also understood this. After all, he was trying to break the limit of the 5 internal organs without using the corresponding talent. But he knew very well that this solution was feasible. 124 times more. Yi Tian exhaled deeply. At this time, it was already the 50th day that he had come to the cultivation tower. He had already withstood 124 times the gravity, and the further he went, the more difficult it was to increase the gravity. He also felt a kind of shackles or limits. Maybe 125 times is the breaking point. Yi Tian calculated. So, after resting for a long time and returning to peak condition, he turned on 125 times the gravity. Click! His internal organs were all shattering, but fortunately, Yi Tian's top-level healing talent was quickly recovering them. Break, repair, shatter again. It was a cyclical process, and the pain involved was simply unimaginable. But in order to be able to build a perfect foundation, Yi Tian was fighting. A few hours passed. Finally, at a certain moment, the shackles in the dark were completely broken by Yi Tian. Rumble. Countless heaven and earth vitality poured into Yi Tian's internal organs, making them stronger and stronger. Soon, they easily withstood 125 times the gravity, and even his internal organs still exuded a faint colorful light. It worked! Yi Tian was ecstatic. Just as he was excited, the real change began. His skin, muscles, bones, blood, and internal organs reacted in response. A stream of dark energy poured into Yi Tian's body, and his body underwent an inexplicable transformation. Countless impurities were squeezed out from the depths of his body. These impurities were almost black, exuding a foul smell, and were all kinds of toxins, impurities, and dirty things in the depths of the human body that couldn't be discharged at all under normal circumstances. But now, they were squeezed out in the inexplicable transformation. This metamorphosis lasted for an hour. It stinks. Yi Tian looked at the impurities on his body and frowned. Fortunately, there was a special bathing place on the 8th floor, so Yi Tian hurriedly went to wash his body, and then returned to the gravity room. I should have a perfect foundation, and I already feel that the defense talent, strength talent, Vajra bone talent, and blood devouring talent have basically merged with all parts of the body. Yi Tian sensed. Maybe the talent has changed. Yi Tian guessed. Subconsciously, he took a look at his talent. Yi Tian was a little confused. His talent situation had changed dramatically. Among the changes were the defense talent, the strength talent, the Vajra bone talent, and the blood eater talent. Defense talent, mystery, pseudo. Strength talent, mystery, pseudo. Vajra bone talent, mystery, pseudo. Bloodthirsty talent, mystery, pseudo. These 4 talents were no longer top-level talents, but had become mystical talents. However, they were followed by a pseudo word, indicating that this talent was a pseudo-mystical talent. Above the top talent of the special class is the mystical talent, which is different from the cultivation talent. I thought it was an extraordinary level talent. Yi Tian muttered. He was very curious about this sudden mystical talent, so he rented the force measurement equipment of the cultivation tower to test the amplification effect of the mystical talent.